October is shaping up to be one of the most important months of the year for Social Security recipients. From payment schedules that could throw some people off, to big news about cost of living adjustments, and even a permanent end to paper checks. There are several updates that seniors, people with disabilities, and low-income Americans simply cannot afford to miss. If you rely on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, the details I'm about to share could directly impact when and how you receive your money. That's why it's crucial to stay with me until the very end, because missing even one update could mean delays or confusion about your benefits. Before we dive in, let me remind you that this channel, Social Security Post, is here to give you clear, accurate, and timely updates without the confusion or rumors you might see elsewhere. If you find this information helpful, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your questions in the comments. I personally review the comments and often bring your questions into future videos, so your voice really matters here. Supplemental Security Income, SSI, beneficiaries usually receive their payments on the first day of each month. For October, that means SSI payments will arrive right on schedule on October 1st, 2025. But there's a twist when it comes to November. Because November 1st falls on a Saturday this year, the Social Security Administration will move those deposits forward by 1 day. That means beneficiaries will see November's SSI check land in their accounts on Thursday, October 31st, 2025. While this might feel like an extra check, it's simply the November payment, arriving 1 day earlier than normal. This scheduling adjustment is part of a long-standing SSA policy that prevents payments from being delayed by weekends or federal holidays. Whenever the first of the month falls on a Saturday, Sunday, or holiday, SSI recipients get their funds the business day before. It ensures that seniors and people with disabilities relying on this money can access it without interruption. The same rule applies throughout the year, which is why checking the calendar in advance is so important for financial planning. Unfortunately, this simple payment adjustment often gets twisted into misleading headlines. Around this time of year, you'll see articles and videos claiming that SSI recipients are getting a bonus check in October or that there will be no payment in November. These stories are designed purely for clicks, views, and ad revenue, and they often create unnecessary fear. The truth is straightforward. You are receiving your November payment early, and there will be no disruption to your benefits. It's important to cut through that noise because millions of people depend on SSI for survival, and rumors like these can cause panic. If you budget carefully, you need to understand that the October 31st deposit is your November money, not a windfall or an added benefit. This is exactly why I emphasize fact-based reporting to stop unnecessary confusion before it spreads. Stay cautious of flashy headlines that sound too good or too scary to be true. They usually are. Another critical update for SSI recipients is a change in how the SSA calculates something called in-kind support and maintenance. This refers to the value of food, housing, or other necessities provided to you by friends, family, or even charitable organizations. In the past, if the SSA determined that you were receiving too much in-kind support, they could reduce the size of your monthly SSI check. Even a small adjustment could lower your income significantly, and this has long been a point of frustration for many beneficiaries. Recent rule changes are shifting how this calculation works, which could impact your benefits going forward. The SSA has been working to simplify its approach so that fewer recipients are penalized for getting help from loved ones. For example, accepting groceries from your children or living with relatives may not reduce your payments as harshly as before. These are positive steps, but it's important to stay informed because even minor policy tweaks in SSI can change how much ends up in your bank account each month. Now let's look at Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, and retirement benefits. If you began receiving Social Security before May of 1997, your payment date is always the 3rd of the month. That means for October, your deposit will arrive on October 3rd, 2025. If you also receive SSI, you'll get 2 separate deposits. Your SSI on October 1st and your Social Security benefit on October 3rd. This dual payment schedule can sometimes confuse recipients, but the pattern remains consistent every month. For everyone else who started Social Security after 1997, payments are issued on a Wednesday schedule based on your birth date. If your birthday falls between the 1st and 10th, you'll receive your payment on October 8th. Those with birthdays between the 11th and 20th will be paid on October 15th. Finally, anyone with birthdays between the 21st and 31st will get their money on October 22nd. This structured schedule was introduced to help spread out payments across the month and reduce administrative burdens on the SSA. October is also the month when the SSA announces the Cost of Living Adjustment COLA for the following year. This adjustment is critical because it ensures that Social Security benefits keep pace with inflation. For example, in 2023, the COLA was 8.7%, one of the largest increases in decades, while in 2024, it dropped to 3.2% as inflation slowed. For 2026, the final figure hasn't been confirmed yet, but estimates are hovering around 2.5% to 3%. These changes directly affect how much you'll receive starting in January 2026. The exact percentage is calculated using the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, CPIW, from the 3rd quarter, specifically July, August, and September. Once those numbers are finalized, the SSA applies the adjustment automatically to retirement, SSDI, and SSI payments. This year's announcement will be especially important because seniors are watching closely to see whether rising costs in food, housing, and healthcare will be adequately reflected in their benefits. With every COLA announcement comes a rise in scams. Fraudsters take advantage of confusion by claiming you need to pay to access your COLA increase or sign up for a special program to get the new benefit amount. These are lies. The SSA applies COLA increases automatically, and you'll be notified through official letters or your My Social Security account online. You never have to pay a fee to get your adjustment. It's important to be on guard. Seniors are often targeted because scammers assume they are less familiar with online systems. If you get a phone call, email, or letter demanding money or personal information in exchange for your COLA increase, hang up and report it immediately. Protecting yourself starts with knowing the facts. COLA is free, automatic, and handled directly by the Social Security Administration. One of the biggest changes this year is the end of paper Social Security checks. Beginning September 30th, 2025, the Treasury Department will no longer issue paper checks for Social Security, SSI, or SSDI benefits. This means that anyone who has not yet switched to direct deposit or the Direct Express debit card needs to take immediate action. The SSA has been pushing for this transition for years to reduce costs, fraud, and delays, and now the deadline is final. Failing to act could result in serious problems. If you still rely on a paper check, your October payment could be delayed or even blocked. To avoid this, visit godirect.gov, call the Electronic Payment Solutions Center, or contact the SSA directly to update your payment method. Direct deposit ensures that funds arrive safely and on time, while Direct Express is an option for those who don't have a traditional bank account. Either way, you must make the switch to avoid disruptions. The Social Security Administration has been expanding its online services through the My Social Security portal, making it easier for beneficiaries to manage their accounts without long phone calls or office visits. Through this system, you can request replacement Social Security cards, check your claim status, access your benefit verification letters, and even use calculators to estimate future retirement payments. You can also view your annual SSA 1099 form for tax purposes directly online. These upgrades are designed to reduce wait times and give people 24/7 access to their information. In the past, the website was often down for maintenance or limited in what it could provide, but improvements mean more reliable service. For seniors and people with disabilities who have mobility or transportation issues, being able to handle paperwork online is a huge convenience. It also gives you faster access to critical information, allowing you to track your benefits without delay. One of the more alarming pieces of recent news involves the Numident database, which contains detailed personal information on about 300 million Americans. A live copy of this database was mishandled and uploaded to a cloud server by contractors, raising serious concerns about security. The data includes sensitive details such as Social Security numbers, birth dates, parents' names, addresses, and even race and ethnicity. While it's not clear if the data was accessed by hackers, the very fact that it was stored improperly poses a huge risk. For beneficiaries, this means it's time to be proactive about protecting your identity. Regularly check your credit reports, which you can do for free through annualcreditreport.com, and consider setting up fraud alerts with major credit bureaus. You can also place a credit freeze if you want to block new accounts from being opened in your name. The SSA is monitoring the situation, but individuals must also take steps to safeguard themselves, especially since seniors are often prime targets for identity theft. Beyond Social Security, there are proposed changes to other senior programs that could impact millions of people. Cuts have been floated for programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP, which many seniors rely on in addition to their Social Security checks. These discussions are ongoing in Congress, and while nothing is final, staying informed is critical because these programs directly affect the affordability of healthcare, food, and housing. Additionally, the Social Security Administration recently marked its 90th anniversary with a letter highlighting updates and achievements. However, many beneficiaries never saw this letter because it was primarily published online rather than mailed out. That's why channels like this one are so important, to make sure you don't miss key information buried in digital announcements. As you can see, October is packed with updates that could change how and when you receive your Social Security benefits, from the early arrival of November SSI payments to the final end of paper checks, from the upcoming COLA announcement to potential risks with data security. Every detail matters. Knowing these changes ahead of time can help you budget, protect your identity, and avoid unnecessary stress. If you found this breakdown helpful, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Social Security Post, and leave your questions in the comments below. Your input not only helps guide future videos, but also builds a community where seniors and beneficiaries can share their experiences and support one another. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next update.